Welcome back, you checked Wehraboos. Today we are looking at a 3.0 battle rating Frankenstein tank destroyer that broke out of the Nazi engineering labs faster than the Italian surrender in 1943. It's called the Marder 3 with an H, and not that shitty Marder 3 with a captured shit Viet vodka launcher. The Marder series in general are probably the fuggliest motherfuckers of the entire Second World War. They began slapping these pieces of shit together after the shit Viet Guard gnome spam of T-34s and KV-1s started to ruffle stomp the Germans on the Eastern Front. A Marder is literally just any inferior tank with a big ass gun duct taped to the fucking hull in place of a turret. They were supposed to be stopgap measures until the glorious mustache man decided that the troops were going to keep these pieces of shit. However, here in War Thunder they are not pieces of shit. In fact, the Marder 3H is easily one of my favorite tank destroyers in the game. Oh, and before I forget, special thanks to Skogsmill for sending this dank replay in. Now let's see why this thing is so dope. As for mobility, this thing can be described as not bad. The hulls of the Marder 3s are Czech Panzer 38Ts, which makes them decently quick and maneuverable. However, this only applies when going forwards, because unlike the French, the 38T has the reverse speed of a fucking sloth. Which means that, if you fuck up and get caught out of position, you cannot escape the face fucking that is coming your way. Speaking of being fucked in the face, the Marder's armor on the hull is a grand total of 50mm with the casemate being only 15. This means that my fucking Cardo has literally more armor than the casemate. And it's open top as well, so not only are Hans and Franz sitting out there freezing or sweating their ass off, but any fucking biplane with a pocket pistol can kill this thing from behind. It also means that 50 caliber machine guns on US tanks and any AAA vehicles in existence, except the first shit via dump truck, can pen your ass from close range. Now finally we get onto the best part of this vehicle, and that's the gun. The 75mm Pak 40 is a high-velocity anti-tank gun that is capable of killing anything at its tier and above. Only the most well-armored vehicles in the game cannot consider this sauerkraut launcher to be a threat. Its biggest weakness on this vehicle is its lack of the ability to point the gun down to any significant fucking degree. Its stock Panzergranate 39 APCBC round has 146mm of penetration at 100 meters against flat armor, which makes it perfect for invading enemy crew compartments. It also has a decent muzzle velocity of 792 meters per second, just like the Blitzkrieg, which is very respectable for its tier. In addition, the PZGR-39 has a 17-gram charge of explosive sausage that detonates after penetrating 15mm of armor, meaning that most of the time you will one or two shot kill the target. And if you hit an ammunition rack, there is a good possibility for it to explode like half the shit Viet Air Force on the 21st of June 1941. It is also equipped with a heat round, but it's totally useless at these low tiers. The APCR that you get on this tank is not as terrible, since not a lot of vehicles early on have sloped armor. But the stock round has an explosive filler and plenty of penetration, so here's my advice when playing with 90% of German guns: use your stock ammo and nothing else. And another rule of thumb is to never use a heat round unless you are a leopard. Just because a shell has shitloads of penetration doesn't mean it's good. And since most of you who will find this review useful are noobs who have probably just downloaded this shit, follow those rules and you will become part of the Wehraboos master race before you know it. As for crew skills, focus on weapon reloading and leadership, vitality, targeting and range finding, and finally tank driving. If you have the silver passackets, it doesn't hurt to get the expert qualification if your crew is at a decent level. For modifications, follow this unlock order: parts, horizontal drive, FPE, HLGR38B, adjustment of fire, PZGR40, and elevation mechanism. After this, feel free to unlock the rest of the mobility upgrades as you wish, you fucking communist. So how do you play this vehicle? Well, it can be seen as a medium to long range sniper. Its gun is perfectly suited to this work, and the vehicles you will face will very rarely have the armor to stop you. The prime culprits of this are the T-34, KV-1, Matilda, and the Churchill gun carrier. These may require you to fire a PCR or aim for flat parts of armor with the standard ammunition. Everything else you just aim center mass and pull the trigger. I recommend you position yourself so that the enemy has to come into your gun arc to fire food products at you. You can do this by hiding in between large bushes and between buildings and other hard cover. Use your good mobility to get into these sorts of positions early and lock down choke points so that you can get some quick and easy kills at the start of the battle. Alternatively, if you get bored of this strategy, you can always go balls deep and attempt to blast some fools away at point blank range. Just be aware that most tanks will end you in 1 or 2 shots, so you might want to know what you are doing before you try this. So before we go, let's review. The Marder has good mobility, which allows it to find good early game firing positions. It's at a very low battle rating with arguably one of the best guns in the game, which makes it capable of killing most enemies over long distances easier than the invasion of Norway. Its stock shells are the best ones for it, so it is easy to kill enemies right out of the hypothetical box. However, it's very lightly armored and is vulnerable to heavy machine gun fire and cannon. It is also open top, so aircraft will wreck your shit with ease, and bomb and artillery shrapnel is a big problem for it. Also, due to its mounting so close to the hull, it can only manage 2 degrees of gun depression, so make sure you fight on flat ground. So there you have it, a fugly tank destroyer with a bite that's definitely worse than its bug. Now get out there and oppress all the capitalist and shit Viet newbies.